Thanks a lot. Welcome everyone. Thanks for joining. Remember this from last year with the colorful headphones. Welcome. Thanks also to Ernst. I think it's the third or fourth time in a row. Always a pleasure to be here. We want to introduce you to Clayy today as part of our Seven Senders platform. Who doesn't know Seven Senders? We are a company from Berlin, founded in 2014, so 15, now in year number 11. We originally, and in the core, do cross-border deliveries in Europe, including customs clearance, where we have our own company with everything you need, customs clearance digitally, returns, covering UK, Norway, and Switzerland. Happy that you come by at booth number D10 later also for that. And obviously, the obvious set of post-purchase features in the platform, such as tracking notifications, tracking pages. Our latest edition, which we started working on around 2 years ago, is a service called claim.me. You can visit our website, obviously same name. What we do there is automate claiming of parcels in Europe. The target there is not to claim endlessly at the carriers to basically create a nightmare situation where carriers are flooded with claims, but rather to release customer service of retailers from this super painful process. What we show you today is going to be 3 parts. First, we step into the product a little bit theoretically. So I show you some slides. How does it look like? How does it feel? What we want you to understand is also that it's a new space. Not a lot of providers, a lot of old school providers, like we did it in the 80s and 90s. You can always outsource claiming or customer service to anywhere in the world. But this is a completely tech-driven solution where you basically get rid of parcel claiming, but also have the cost benefits of it and don't just pay someone for €7 a ticket or something. Then secondly, we're going to bring you a case study. There's 3 trade fairs at the moment in Europe in the same week. That's why our customers say hi and can't be on stage. There's a Munich Transport, there's a Shop Talk in Barcelona, and there's this main event here today. So we leave it up to Lorenzo and me on the case study. And then lastly, we show you where we think this is going to go with agent systems and artificial intelligence, strongly believing that customer service is probably number 1 to be optimized. I also know it doesn't work great if you look at some agents that we all have to use in private life. It's still better to talk to a human, I guess. But I think this will go very quick. So claim.me, what is it about? This is a rough indication. You can check it with your own figures in your online store. In Europe, because in other parts of the world it's different, in Europe, it's roughly 3 out of 1,000 parcels have an issue, but half of them appear again. Issue is normally damaged, a loss, or a partial loss. So someone sent a T-shirt and the trousers, and the T-shirt is missing. Could be a picking mistake in the warehouse. Could be someone has stolen the T-shirt. Most of the cases are losses, and half of them appear. So human approaches the online store and says, hey, my parcel didn't arrive, but the tracking says it arrived. Normally the next day the neighbor comes and brings the parcel, right? So there it is again. So to give you a rough indication, because Deliver is known for big retailers, so you can scale this up or down to your parcel number. But that means that of 1 million parcels, normally 1,500 are finally lost or damaged. And if we assume an online retailer of €100 net order value and you can claim that whole value, one example for 100% net order value reimbursement is the German DHL. In the Netherlands, it's a bit different. You don't get a lot of money back. we're talking about 150,000 euros a year. So that's the one side of the case. That's like get the refunds that belong to you. And the other side of the case is how do you get there? So what do you need to do to get that money? And that is highly fragmented. And that's where I hand over to Lorenzo.
Yes, thank you very much. So we now are going to go a little bit into more detail into how we've actually built a solution for the problems that Thomas guided through a moment ago. So starting from what are the typical issues that one might encounter, Thomas already anticipated. We got lost parcels, we got delivery disputes, we got damages, full damage, partial damage. We got missing items, either stolen or not picked up. And sounds pretty straightforward and simple. Okay, it's only 3 case types, but we have a variety of carrier who over time and across products and across geographies have put their own policies and put their own flavor on top of these issues in their terms and conditions. That means that reimbursement will differ, the SLAs, the deadlines, the documentation required, all of that will differ even for the same carrier depending which product you have purchased, in which geography you are delivering, domestic, international, whether they are injecting in their own local network in another or in another country or even in a third party. As we had to deal with this as experts in cross-border deliveries, we built a platform that is standing sort of in the middle between the issues and the flavors that each carrier gives to them, and give our customers a sort of single entry point to aid them through the claim submission to make sure that an issue is never missed, an issue is submitted with all the complete documentation that's required to guarantee success, and we try to make the life easier of all parties involved, be it the consumer, online shop, CS team, and of course also the carrier that has to deal with the issue. So that was our starting point. We'll talk a little bit later about it in more detail, but we figured, okay, having the best-in-class claim submission widget is perhaps not enough, so we start looking into where shops actually work, ticketing system, built integration for those, and it's something that should not be missed. We have a team behind that after the claim is submitted actually is in charge of bringing that to resolution, so that's what meant here by claims as a service. Now, for the continuation, I have 2 concrete examples. One already mentioned, the integration with ticketing system, and the other one is how we attacked and simplified one of the common cases that is found in parcel claiming, which is the so-called declaration of recipient. That's a document that is required in case there's a delivery dispute. Carrier says, I delivered the parcel. Consumer says, I didn't get the parcel. And even looking into that particular detail, we found a bit of complexity. We found a number of templates in use and required by all the different carriers. We find different level of maturity on the consumer side, who sometimes is printing out, hand filling a document, scanning it, sending it back, sometimes with very poor quality, which you can see on the slide. And sometimes I personally have trouble understanding what's going on in such a document, so let alone an AI or any kind of screen reader, so no chance to automate any process starting from this. Once again, this is just one example, but what we put in place to simplify this for all parties involved, as I said before, is sort of a digital signing experience for this particular document, where the shop would simply select the preferred communication language for the consumer. Then our templating engine will take care of filling a document with all the required information. Carrier X requires certain set of details for the consumer, they get it. Another carrier requires another set of details, they get it. and the consumer has the convenience of the digital signature, don't have to leave their phone, can do it in seconds, and don't even have to fill the document anymore. So reducing the waiting time for the CS team from potentially days to hours, and substantially speeding up the claim submission overall is something we've achieved with this particular feature, and that's one of the many examples in which we're able to bring a little bit of speed, a little bit of efficiency into the claiming process. And moving on from here, I'd also like to touch a little bit upon how we've realized, talking to our customers and analyzing the process and getting a little bit into the weeds, that as I said before, having the best submission flow in our portal is sometimes sufficient, but most of the times you actually want to minimize the switching across different systems to avoid getting lost and having to retrieve documents from all over the place. And so we've also started looking into integrations into popular ticketing systems such as Salesforce Service Cloud, such as Freshdesk, such as Zendesk, and bringing more or less the same submission process and capabilities that we have in our portal, right where customer service teams at shops typically are working and handling their communication with the consumers, so that they can have the overview at a glance of what is going on the consumer side, and effectively resolve that with an eye on what is happening on the carrier and on the claim side, so that the transaction is resolved optimally on both ends, even in the case of an issue, and hopefully resulting in improved consumer experience and not only benefit for the shop. Yeah, and from here we're then moving on.
Maybe
to our
I can
case
ask
study.
you already a question.
Mm-hmm.
There's a couple of things we know. Seven senders because of the international. You run all the transportation, and now this looks like sort of a spin out. So that's primarily for your existing clients, or how should I see that?
Good question. No, actually not. So this product is actually independently of whether you ship cross-border or not, or whether you are a Seven Senders client yet or not, right? So that's also why you see a little bit of a new branding, more colorful. It's a standalone software and service solution. So you don't have to ship parcels with us, and it doesn't matter whether you ship 90% of your parcels domestically. It's basically a solution that you can implement right away.
And maybe a question for you, Lorenzo. You're telling this about this onboarding process, trying to integrate with existing systems. Sounds a little complex, or how would you say how quickly can you set up a client?
It's actually a fairly quick process for us. We have fairly standardized ways of exchanging data, and that's all you need to do. So in order to get started with Clayy, you would need to give us your shipment details and consumer details, and that's in principle all. We can then distribute this integration as a plugin, and the rest is pretty much setting up the access and the accounts to our portal. I think a good stretch goal is, if everything goes very smooth, is going live in 2 weeks.
Okay.
So 2 to 4 weeks, very reasonable.
Yeah, pretty fast actually.
Launch time.
Much faster than I expected. Any questions from the audience already? You can raise your hand and throw a mic in the audience. Yeah? So it will wake you up anyway. But okay, let's continue then with Thomas.
So good question. So with actually this trade fair, it's quite interesting because we've been coming here for so many years, and integration is such a big topic, right? So let's be honest, if you want to integrate a label engine, or if you want to switch a country to another carrier, it's normally quite a project. This is completely different, right? So Lorenzo is right, 2 weeks is a goal, but that means we talk today at the booth. You get it explained, your teams get a training, you sign a contract, and you go live. Why? Because there are several ways of integration. We can work with carrier credentials, then there's basically no integration. We can work with super flat CSV files. And all you will do is you will open your Freshdesk or Zendesk or Salesforce Service Cloud. Or if you don't have it, you go in the web browser and you start using the software and claim in a few clicks. Coming to the case, so being here in the Netherlands, I still have a good feeling that everyone knows Thomann, but I'm not sure. It's roughly 2 billion. It's actually going straight to the $2 billion dollar company from a little town in Bavaria in southern Germany. It's one of two huge online music instrument resellers in the world. One is in Bavaria and one is in America. You're probably laughing about it, but even Mick Jagger, Keith Richards, they buy there. This is an example from the online shop. You can Google it. It's a Gibson guitar, and it's on the website sold for 19,900 euros. But you can also buy just the USB cable for 5 euros, right? So they have an endless amount of goods. They're selling to basically the entire world. So they theoretically sell, I think, to almost the entire world. We have seen claims, I think, to around 70 countries already, right? So as we are processing the claims, we know where the claims happen in which country, right? Super interesting company, very long in the market, almost 30 years, 7 million parcels, almost 2,000 employees. Super exciting. If you are into music, they have a huge store in Bavaria that is more like a half soccer field. What were the challenges? They are growing heavily every year, so parcel volume goes up, and they were looking at like reaching more than 20,000 claim issues a year, right? So difference between issue and claim is consumer brings an issue, but it doesn't necessarily turn into a claim. Because as I said at the beginning, 50% drop out, but as a customer service, you have to deal with 100% of them, right? Then there's a variety of carriers. You can check it out. They're basically working with a lot of carriers. They had to use tools, docs, PDFs, Word documents, tools from UPS, you name it. And for sure, all the languages that this world has. That also means you have to sometimes claim in Spanish, etc., etc. They looked at the market. They screened the market for a software claim solution, and that was around a year and a half ago, and they couldn't really find one. And 2 years ago, and Thomann is a client of ours for shipping business, cross-border, and we have always had this software. But the software was rather only for the clients that we serve shipping. So then we kind of decided, okay, maybe instead of build or buy, why don't we take the product that we have and we shape it together and build a software for the entire market. So in the last 1.5 years, Clayy has become what it is, also with the push and the expertise from one of our clients, but actually also from all of our clients. Because companies like Essex and many others that we ship also claim in a similar software, not to this extent, because Claim.me has far more features, as you could just see that Lorenzo showed. And this was something that we developed together with Thomann. So the demand from Thomann was have all cases in one platform, all 12 CS teams that they have working in one browser, and being able to claim any parcel in any country. And very important, take the execution of the carrier claim away. So what we do is we cut the process in the middle, and the online shop puts the claim that they want to see into our software with like 3 clicks. And then our team, in our customer service team at Clayy, very much human-based, so there's not a lot of artificial intelligence happening there, taking these claim requests, and we claim together with the carriers and deal with the tickets. I don't have to tell you like what this brings for an online shop of that size. Just to drop some bullets, you have an efficiency that you can, in claiming, that you can almost not increase, saving you a lot of money in customer service. You never have to claim or communicate with the carrier ever again when it comes to claims. You can scale to any carrier, any country. You never have to deal with the processes because we do it for you. You have suddenly transparency on the KPIs. So you can see on a heat map in Europe, where are my claim cases, maybe which zip codes, where is more stealing happening, where are parcels getting lost, etc., etc. And you have a complete live clarity on reimbursement, so on euro amounts that you actually get. Just to name some of them. So this is general KPIs to also show you a little bit what you can expect if you are interested in claiming. To make it very brief, you will never have to claim a carrier again. Roughly, it really depends on your current processes, but we feel very, very good with this number, seeing the amount of our clients that we compare, that you can save between 70 and 95% of time spent in customer service on the topic claiming in general. You saw earlier the Freshdesk, Zendesk app. You have to imagine the work that you have to do as a shop to claim. Go in a DHL browser window, fill in a document, do this, upload that, write an email. You remain in your actual ticket system Freshdesk that you always had. We basically kind of like install this Clayy application. You do some clicks left and right, same browser window, done. And we also, depending on where you're coming from, see an average on 8% points higher success rate, which is normally through not missing deadlines, or shops have not really put effort into claiming. What we say, because as a partner being on the market for 11 years, we are not a product that carriers have to reimburse more than they should. For us, it's important, we also talk to carriers, that this process is as efficient for the carriers as for the shops. It's not about squeezing carriers, right? It's about claiming the things that you should claim because the parcel is lost or damaged in the given process by the carrier on time with the least effort you can invest. That's the goal. And also here, partnerships are very important because also we want to keep the claim processes the way the carriers need them, and we align basically in the back end. Yeah, so far to the Clayy product. Do you have a question? Or?
Yeah, we have also some questions from the audience. So it's really working well with the app. So let me read out one of those questions. With any particular carriers that is this working best? I can imagine that with some of them it's slow, with some of them super fast.
So I hope, now I'm not a politician, but I really don't like to point out carriers. If you want to hear carriers, you come to the booth at D10 and I tell you. I can tell you that there are some Southern European carriers who still live in a very old school way of paperwork and invoices and stuff. They look a little bit like on a typewriter. That's always a bit challenging. Then there are carriers who understand that it's better to keep it efficient for themselves because they have to handle the claim anyways. I think the German DHL is actually a good example, same as with Hermes. And then it's also about the money that you get. I mean, I don't know who is that deep into the topic, but as we are here in the Netherlands, Dutch carriers in general, they don't reimburse a lot. I think they reimburse like €3 per kilogram. So I can't do anything about that. So I would probably not claim too much there because the effort is less than what you get. With this software, maybe it starts making sense. But yeah, that's kind of like a rough answer. But happy to talk to you later.
Yeah. So the secret sauce will remain a little bit secret for this afternoon, but you can check in at D10 later. One of the other questions, why Claim.me is not directly integrated with the carrier's API, because that would be probably a step further down the road, right?
So that's actually a very good question, and it is connected to the question before. Carriers who have APIs, we love to integrate with it. Yeah. So Lorenzo says yes. So for sure, because at the end we have humans in our company that do the claiming with the carriers, and after a while they also all know each other. So there's not like a love and a hate relationship. It's just like, okay, both customer service teams, Clayy and the carrier, they just do their work every day. So we all want to have it efficient. So once a carrier offers us an API for claiming, we take it 100%. But to be very, very honest, carrier landscape in Europe is at that particular process, customer service, far away from being digitized on the carrier side.
Cool.
Yeah, we have to a little bit meet the market where it is, right? So we
I think it also has a strategic aspect to it, because the thing that you're doing, you make that world a little bit more transparent. So you create probably a competition between the carriers, who is the most efficient in the claims, right? Also in this model, we've seen a little bit more, the models probably from a few years ago, they were also on the business model. That was based as well on a percentage of the claim that you would pocket yourself, right?
Yeah.
So maybe you can explain about your business model.
Yeah, exactly. So from the business model, it's like this. We are all aware that we're still in a time after COVID where most of the budgets are tight, right? So we are not offering here a software solution that shall cost you like an immense amount of money on a fixed basis. What we developed is a model that comes from the airline industry. You maybe know a company called Flightride, where you can hand in your delayed flights and they put it through at Lufthansa or KLM and they take a cut and you get the rest, but you don't have to do anything. Why is this important in claiming? It's because otherwise you don't know whether your service provider actually tried everything to get that claim through, right? So if I would give my airline claim to Flightride and they say, yeah, I get €100 up front and then it's declined, I would never know whether they actually tried to get it through. That's very important in parcel claiming. So we have a moderate software fee per month that we charge as a fixed base. It starts at around €549 a month. And then we take a percent of only the successfully reimbursed claims. So our team works on average on 2 claims. Let's say 2 times 2 pairs of shoes, €150. 1 claim is declined, but we worked on that for like 20 minutes with our team. And 1 claim gets through. Then we only get for the successful claim a percentage of the €150. And about the percentage, we can also talk at booth number D10, but it follows a very simple curve. So the higher the net order value of an online shop, the lower the percentage. Yeah. If someone sells products for only €20, then we have to take quite a big cut. But it fairly goes to a 1-digit percent point. Fairly fast. Okay, let's look a little bit into the future. I can tell you this is not far away. This is a couple of months away. We have started developing this together with a huge KI company. We know that probably in a couple of years from now, chatbots will be pretty amazing, and going onto a website of an online shop, logging into the account and filling in, selecting drop-down menus and typing a message that I lost my parcel is pretty shitty, right? Like no one wants to do that. It's a waste of time for everyone. So this is something that I don't know if it's going to look like this, but if we talk and if you talk to experts, this is somehow how it could look in the future. So there's a private person who has a phone. There is like a symbolic phone of the online shop. And shops will have several agents and also several layers of agents, right? It's not, even the great experts can't tell you yet how it will go. Will there be the magic master Google bot, and then in the back are only APIs? Or will every company specialized have an own super intelligent bot? This is when you interview experts, probably the way it will go. Also because of the quality will be much higher. So illustrating here, you maybe have a payment question to the bot of your online shop because the payment didn't come back, the reimbursement. Then they will maybe route it through the Klarna agent, Klarna bot, just exemplary. I hope Klarna doesn't have a problem with this. And then there may be a question to the delivery because a parcel is lost. And that will then potentially maybe be routed to the Clayy agent. And our agent also, by the way, talks to other agents. Yeah. So on tracking status, on language model, we need information. Maybe we need other information from the internet to answer the question, right? So how the whole flow could look like without work from active work from customer service teams in the first moment is that you enter the chatbot. We take an example, called it the beauty shop. The beauty shop for sure knows your name because you logged in your account, saying, "Hi Lisa, what can I do for you? Let me understand what you want and I will guide you to the perfect agent," right? So consumer, so I say, "Hey, I have a problem with my latest order, hasn't arrived yet," right? By the way, I have done this in a chatbot of a carrier. It's a big carrier, works pretty well, really cool. I have it actually here on my phone, I can show it to you later. These kind of things already work today pretty well. Then the system knows it's like about the delivery failure, so it's going to be like the Clayy agent, and that is specified and perfect in solving this issue. So this agent will basically say, "Hey, I currently see you have 2 open orders. Which one is it, 1 or 2?" Then I answer, "It's about the first order that I'm missing." Then it says, "Okay." So our agent then crawls all the tracking data and puts it into natural language and is basically telling this girl, Lisa, "Hey, I can see that your order was delivered by DHL on May 25 to your neighbor, Franklin. Can you describe what the problem is? Because you say you have a problem. I don't see a problem here." So yeah, I know, I saw that in the tracking, but my neighbor says it's not there. Then the chatbot knows, okay, this is a loss investigation, as we saw earlier from Lorenzo. So the customer needs to sign a DOR now, right? But that's a standard process. We never explained what a DOR is. A DOR is a declaration of recipient. It's an eidesstattliche Erklärung that you have to sign, that you actually state with your signature that you have never received the parcel. Otherwise, there would be a lot of theft in this world. Yeah? Then the consumer can, from the chat, just exit, click here, goes to the browser, and signs that DocuSign document that we saw earlier. That is in the case file. Claim-wise, this case is done. No one has to do anything. Now the chatbot says, "Hey, look, this is what's going to happen in the next 48 hours," because this is one of the big problems of online shops is what is going to happen now. So even this bot has to basically tell the consumer, and this is a process that has to be aligned with the shop when integrating this agent, right? So saying, hey, first of all, we're going to come back to you in 48 hours. We're trying to find your parcel. Please let me know, what shall we do if we can't find it? Do we want us to send out the order again? Or do you want us to reimburse the money to the payment method that you used when you ordered? So now saying two, send it out again. And then basically the rest is just the obvious blah blah from chatbots. Thank you, all great, how are you? Have a good day. Then potentially the chatbot of the online shops takes over, asks the same question, maybe does a survey, maybe gives away a voucher for the inconvenience, and that's it. So, as I said, you can never know you cannot know yet how it's going to look like. It's like when we were all using Blackberries. I was like born on the edge of Blackberry and the next generation. Or like browser, you can't know whether it's going to be one super agent or not, but this is months away, right? This is not a year away. And online shops will all have it because no one wants to deal with CS tickets in Freshdesk. Not on a lost parcel. So maybe closing this with I'm not allowed to tell you the KPI from Thomann, but Thomann as an online shop selling these amazing music instruments, they're very proud of having a lot of touch points with their consumers, which is super rare in the online industry, right? Because normally everyone tries to avoid a touch point, but they love the touch point as long as it's about the products. But they don't want to have a touch point on a lost parcel, or they don't want to have a touch point on a delivery issue. And that's the difference. There is, from my opinion, still the same future for customer service agents to be here in 5 or 10 years, but on the things where you can basically make consumers happy, where you need expertise on a product, etc. Yeah, that's it. Questions to you, if you have some. Otherwise, I think I said it already a couple of times. See you at D10 or later here around the stage. Thank you.
Okay. Well, thank you, Thomas. Thank you, Lorenzo. Do we have questions from the audience? Let me put one. Do you see a raising hand? Not yet. Okay. Let me put also a question to you. You know, in the journey that Seven Senders made, you're moving now into this AI space. It's also there sort of, how do you attract the right talent effectively as well to this, the next stage in the journey? How do you approach that as, to stay attractive in this market?
Yeah, I think it's the talent journey definitely changed. What we see at the moment. So not talking directly about Seven Senders, but about Berlin as a tech hub. And now also Munich now being a huge tech hub with big companies coming. The fight about talent changed because currently it's more we see in a freeze because no one really knows who is actually an expert in the future. So I know companies that currently hire random CVs, but the people are super interested in AI, and they basically have the job just to stay on top of the game and trying apps and trying agents every day. But they don't necessarily have studied AI, KI, or have studied IT, right? So for us, we have many developers, young people that are super interested in this space. So they have done their job also before and after work, because this is something that you not necessarily learned in school, right?
Yeah.
So we try to do it with the team members that we have, instead of just hire randomly people who apparently say they know what they do, because I'm not very sure if there is already talent that knows what this is going to be, right?
Yeah, you're looking probably more for agility and
Totally,
adaptability
Totally,
to that.
yeah.
Maybe you can say a few words. You're not that long with the company, Lorenzo. So how do you experience the journey with Seven Senders and the team?
Yeah, I think having been through a couple of companies in the logistics space so far, I think we really need that combination that we have at Seven Senders of people who have the really deep expertise in the relatively narrow part of the field, and have been doing that for a really long time. And maybe profiles a little bit like mine, more generalist, definitely expert in shipping software, but not necessarily knees deep into the details of one particular, let's say, subset of an industry. And I think when we can bring those two profiles together effectively, that's really powerful, and we can really deliver. And I think that's what we're doing in Claim.me, actually. That's
great
what
to
we're
hear.
doing every day.
So, before I close off and ask you to give a big round of applause for Thomas and Lorenzo, I think what I promised you a very exciting case study, and I think we heard about that. We learned about how the transition as well from 7 senders into new territory with the Claim.me proposition is really bringing something, also opening new markets, and also for non-existing clients, and also in a domain not necessarily where they were already active, like very much on the domestic side. We also learned about the application and the customer case, and also from there we ventured out in what the future of AI will bring in this domain. So I guess you raised my curiosity, so I will definitely visit you at stand D10 for learning more and learning all the things about the secret sources that you have hidden for us. So thank you very much. Give a big round of applause for Thomas and Lorenzo.
Thank you, everyone.